Jake Cronenworth, Padres second baseman, having a good camp. Jake, how are you, my friend?
Oh, I'm doing great. Doing great here early this morning, but the weather's starting to warm up, which is nice.
It is nice. You had a lot going on. We'll get to some baseball stuff, but you had a lot going on this offseason. You got married.
I did.
How was the wedding? Wifey is out here, right? Because she works for the Chicago White Sox. I imagine, you guys get home from work. You don't really want to talk about work anymore at that point. Or were you trying to – you guys both do the same thing or in the same occupation, basically?
No, we've been watching a lot of TV shows, but no, it's been really nice because it is so early in our marriage. But usually we don't get to see each other during spring training because, my schedule is crazy. And for her to be working the same schedule and be out here and for us to be together is pretty awesome.
Now, when the White Sox were here last week, did you guys get to ride home together?
No, she drove.
Oh, man.
She was up in the press box, though.
I saw it. That's why I was asking. All right.
What TV shows does she like to make you watch? I've been married a while, so I know how these things work.
The show we've been watching recently is Lioness on Paramount Plus.
Ooh, that's a good one.
It's good.
That's a really good one.
Yeah. Have you seen Paradise yet on Hulu?
We just finished that.
Okay.
Two or 3 days ago. It was really good.
Yeah, I like that one. Jake is with us. Okay, how has this whole setting changed for you in like the last 4 years? From first year when we interviewed you and we thought you were a shortstop and a pitcher, to now with wear your old hat.
Man, it's crazy. It's
isn't it?
I don't want to say it's a unique kind of path that I've taken, but it is, and because it's unique to me.
Right.
But no, I mean it's crazy. Being a 26-year-old rookie in the big leagues that was a pitcher, shortstop, and then kind of finds his way into the lineup as a pinch runner in that first game, and kind of carved a path for myself, and now we're here. And no, it's pretty crazy, honestly, when you look back at it, and it's one of those things you don't really notice until as the years go on, and I'm sure when I retire at some point or when that time comes, I'm going to look back and even kind of think it's even crazier.
It goes by really fast. It does feel like it wasn't that long that he was sitting here in front of us, and we didn't really know how to even approach the interview based on –
I think we had to ask for a pronunciation of his last name.
But here we are now. I mean, you're one of the vets on this team. Speaking of, your growth, you've been one of the union reps for quite some time. You moved up to executive board now? I mean, just talk about like the responsibilities of that, because for you this is much bigger than just going out and playing baseball.
Yeah, I was an assistant rep my first couple of years with when Craig Stammen was our rep. And, he's got 1 million kids, so I was taking the brunt of the work. So
Craig takes a shot, and he's not even here.
No, I mean, I think it was good, though, for me at an age where I was early in my career. And, Craig had been doing it for a long time, I think since he had been in D.C. So to learn from him, and then I've known some people at the PA for a long time, and to learn from them as well. And just gain knowledge, and I wasn't a rep at the point, and though I was kind of taking everything as if I was the rep because Craig was busy doing his thing, and taking over the role as the rep these last 3 years, and now on the subcommittee. No, it's been crazy, man. It's an important piece for young players, and not just young players, but guys who've played 10, 11 years too. I mean, this is our livelihood and this is our career, and whatever we can do to help us now and then obviously help the generations that come after us is very important.
Are the younger guys taking to understanding the importance of what you do and how to kind of keep passing this down?
I think over the course of time, yeah. I've always been interested in it, since even when I was in the minor leagues. And we didn't have a minor league PA at the time, but I've always been interested. But I think guys are starting to realize the importance of it, and it's hard for a really young player to come in and be like, "Hey, I want you to, be the assistant rep because I think you're going to be here for a long time. I think this will be beneficial for you." And not for you, but for your career. You're going to understand how the process works and what you're going to go through, arbitration, free agency, pension, all these different things. And it's all important. But it's hard when you're really young because you want to focus on playing and you want to focus on getting to a position that you can achieve all those things as your career goes along.
No doubt.
Jake Cronenworth is with us at Padres spring training. Okay, the fans think they know, but they don't. So let's set them straight. Jake is struggling because he's playing first base, he's playing second base, he doesn't know what position he's going to play. Does any of this matter to you? Does it have any effect? I mean, do you have to work extra to, have two positions, and can that take away from your offense? I mean, do the fans have any? Are they right at all? Just a tiny bit?
No, I mean, the one thing about our fans is they're passionate about our team and they want us to win. And it's the same thing with us. We're passionate about us as a group, and we want to win. So as much as it hurts when guys don't have success or they're going through a slump or we're losing, it hurts us honestly more.
Yeah,
it does.
Sure. Yeah.
And I mean, it because it's our livelihood. This is what we do. Like, it pains us when we're not helping the team win. But in my case, when I'm going through those times or I'm moving positions back and forth or whatever that, little span may be, when I show up to the field that day, like, I could feel the worst ever at the plate. I could feel horrible in the field. I could feel like, making all of these mistakes. But when I show up, my goal is like, okay, I may not be at my best right now at the plate. I may not be seeing everything. But what can I do to help the team win tonight?
Yeah.
That may be beat out a double play. I may be 0 for 4, but I beat out a double play early in the game that, lets that winning run score and we win by one run. Or I make a defensive play or – make a good read on the bases that extends the inning and gets their starter out. There's a lot more things that go into it than just hits and strikeouts.
I know.
It's hard. It's the hardest thing I think we do is trying to convince people that you have to separate the money that guys are making to what they're doing on the field. Everybody who's making a lot of money, 99% of guys who play in this game want to do well, and they don't want to suck. They don't want to be embarrassed. There's nothing worse.
This is what he says all the time.
No matter how much money you're making, these people they care about what they're doing. So they're not thinking about the money. They're thinking about why I'm not doing well. And so it's one of the hardest things we have to convince. But on that point, I felt like some of the things you talked about last year, the team as a whole did a lot of that. And it ends up turning out that everybody has pretty decent years when everybody's focused on what you're talking about, which is, if I am 0 for 4, what can I do to help win a game?
100%. I mean, there's one stretch specifically last year. It was one of the hardest stretches because I wasn't hitting, but it was a stretch that I was pretty, I don't want to say proud of, but I was pretty proud of because I think it was that, end of August, the beginning of September little stretch where I think I was only hitting like 200 over the course of like 15 games, but I had like a 415 on base percentage.
Right, you're finding other ways.
So it's like, yes, I may not be getting the hits, I may not be, crushing the ball or hitting homers or whatever, but I'm somehow finding a way to get on base. And like I think, especially where I was hitting in the lineup at that time, like that's super important because then it rolls the lineup over, fifth time going into those last 3 innings, and it gets the top 3 guys up in the 9th inning or. It gets them up in the 8th, and now it's our, 4, 5, and 6 guys coming back up in the 9th. And then now it's more pressure on their bullpen to come in and them to make moves. And it may be game 1 of a series where, their starter comes out in the 5th instead of the 6th, and now they burn 4 bullpen guys. And boom, now we're set up the next 2 days to really go after them.
That's what they're thinking of, everybody. And you're thinking of all this other stuff. You're thinking of, wow, you didn't get a hit from my fantasy team. That's what they're thinking of. Let me tell you, Jake, you know this. Jake Cronenworth is with us. All right, first base to second base. First of all, when you play first base, you almost play second base because I've never seen a guy off the line further than you. But what are the differences, heading into this season just mentally as you kind of get ready?
Yeah, I think, me switching to second base a little bit last season was definitely good. I think the first little 30 games that I played was definitely an adjustment period because I hadn't played there in a year and a half. And when you're not playing at a spot in a year and a half and you're taking ground balls in one place and you go back to a position you've played, yes, it's familiar, but at the same time it's getting those reps and getting the right angles and where you got to throw from and being in the right spots, and then go back to first base. And then those last 55-ish games, I think I played at second. I made the right adjustments, looked at a ton of video of what I was doing in 22 and what I was doing, the first stint last year, what I was doing wrong, and really propelling myself to put myself in the best position on the defensive side of the ball to make plays.
Body-wise, I know last year going to first base, you felt like you needed to, add a little muscle, put a little weight on. I imagine you've gone the opposite way for second base.
Yeah, I think it was more just I'm playing, I don't want to say a more athletic position because I like to play first as if I was playing in the middle of the field.
Right.
But I think a big thing this offseason was how can I get faster? How can I get more quick twitch? And, I'm playing that position in the middle of the field for 162. And, it's I don't want to say it's the most demanding position, but it's a position that you need to be ready to go all the time. And I love playing second because the reason I like it is, whatever's happening at the plate, I know that when I go out on the defensive side of the ball, I can impact the game somehow.
Yeah.
Whether it's a tag play at second or turning a double play at the end of the game or, having a cut and relay in the gap that throws the tying run out at the plate or, I personally like that because I love playing defense. So it's, for me, I like having that separation of defense and offense. And not to say I didn't have it at first, but it's a little harder because you're sitting over there and it's kind of hard to talk to the guys over there, and you're kind of sitting in your own little world, which is great. But at the same time, I'm talking the entire game to everybody on the field.
Yeah.
This play could potentially happen. This is going to happen. Hey, you need to get there if that ball goes down the line. But if this happens, we need to be over in this spot. That's a piece I really love.
As Xander says, when you're at second base as opposed to first base, you're further away from the dugout. Isn't that what Xander said?
That's why he didn't want to.
He's even shaking his head on that
one. Jake, man, it's been fun, man. Appreciate you coming on, spending some time with us.
Thanks, man.
As always.
Good to see you.
Yeah, absolutely. Thanks for having me, guys.